Alrighty, we are live. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another LinkedIn Live session. My name is Yashmai Walters. I am a client engagement manager here with CCC. Um, I'll be taking over for Mike today. I know you guys are looking forward to Mike. Mike's traveling, so I'm gonna hold it down for today. If you guys have any questions throughout this talk, um, I see some comments already coming in. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns during this talk, please feel free to add it to the chat. Behind the scenes today, we got Alex helping out. So Alex, get to the questions as soon as possible. Alrighty, so you guys have seen the announcement, right? You guys saw the title, right? And you guys are wondering like, what's this big pivot, right? So I want to start by talking about our mission since our inception, since the day we started, and why we feel we need to change, make some changes, right? So our mission since 2020, when we founded post pandemic, has been to create alternative employment opportunities from or for individuals from underrepresented and underserved communities. We do that by creating employer-driven earn and learn pathways for careers in the field of software engineering, data engineering, QA automation engineer. So I got my first opportunity here in tech here at creating coding careers as a QA automation engineer. So that's how I started, y'all. Humble beginnings, right? Um, but yeah, it's very crucial to what we do. The work that we do is it really serves the community and serves folks in the community because this directly represents individuals that will go off and start families and buy homes and right. So this the work that we do um, directly impacts the economy. In my personal opinion. So I want to start by talking about two major players in the tech space, right? These companies are um, Bitwise and Multiverse. So you guys probably may or may not have heard of them. So Bitwise in California, um, in the San Joaquin Valley. They were a tech apprenticeship program with a very similar mission to ours, empowering the community through providing these opportunities for individuals to create a tech career in tech, right? So these are um, jobs that weren't traditionally in that area, and they're bringing it into that area to really empower the community. Um, so I was reading this article. It's from Fresno Land, which is their newspaper. So in 20 May 29th of 2023, Bitwise, once the face of technology in Fresno, collapsed, abandoning nearly 1,000 employees. Right, and most of the folks are in the San Joaquin Valley. Right. Um, though um, their goal, right, is was pure, right, what they were trying to do, um, there's no fault to them at all. It's just a testament to the challenges and how difficult this work is, right, creating these opportunities. Um, so they went out. They unfortunately had to close their doors. Very sad. 900 people were furloughed, and it's very unfortunate, right? Um, Similarly, Multiverse, they're very similar, but in the UK, they started a practice in New York City, got major funding to do so, and recently announced that they are hitting pause on apprenticeships, right? So apprenticeships, just the nature of it in the US has just been very challenging, right? So this is the work that we've been doing since 2020. I've been fortunate to be here since the inception and have seen so many people go on to amazing careers. But it's still, you know, it's still uh, the work itself is still very challenging, right? So we've had many success stories, but the work has been rough, right? It's been challenging. Um, that has been compounded by the times that we're in, right? So the times that we're in, it's very uncertain times. Interest rates are high, right? It's an election year. There's massive tech layoffs going on. AI has been more prevalent um, right now, and companies are trying to figure out how they're going to leverage AI as a tool to increase productivity, but also like what does a productive workforce look like, right? Maybe they don't need as many employees, right? And they're in this state of like trying to figure out um, how they're going to leverage the tool. So it's a very interesting time, right? Very interesting time going on right now. Um, the reason why we decided that we needed to make some changes is really to adjust to everything that we're seeing, right? So with Bitwise going out of business, multiverse hitting the pause on apprenticeships, everything that we're seeing in the economy right now. There are things that we have to do to you know be here for the next 10 years, right? So what are those things? One of the biggest one is our partnership with Pearson View. So if you haven't, you may or may not have heard of Pearson View. Pearson View is a um, Pearson View is the largest. They're a part of Pearson PLC, the largest education company in the world, right? They're world leader in computer-based testing. They provide certificate um, training and training pathways for roles like cloud engineering, cybersecurity, AI, and data, right? And with everything going on, we want to position ourselves and position our folks to be ready for when things bounce back, right? Because we don't think that this is going to be, um, the end all be all. We don't think it's not all doom and gloom, right? Um, all it is just the economy needs to turn around, and hopefully we'll see that by the beginning of next year after the election. um, so yeah, so we're partnering with Pearson View to roll out these additional certificate training programs for individuals to find placement in roles that we historically haven't been able to train for, right? So that's one of the biggest announcements. The courses will be available through our LMS, and it will be out in the beginning of September, right? So we're really excited. Really looking forward to that, being able to provide that for you guys. Next thing, we've been really focused on scaling our SkillBridge program. So, what is SkillBridge? So, some of you guys know, some of you guys are from SkillBridge, um, or you've met us through SkillBridge, but some of you guys don't. So, what is SkillBridge? So, SkillBridge is a Department of Defense. It's a program through the Department of Defense where a transition and service member, within their up to their last 180 days, can come and work with a company like ours. So we've been fortunate to have some rock star SkillBridge participants come in and really been killing it. Let's go, Corey. I see you. But no, folks have been really killing it coming into our program. And we've been fortunate to be able to provide a lot of um, these folks intro into the tech space, via this program, right? So a lot of our folks have gone on to be TAs and instructors with ServiceNow. They've also gone on to other companies as well, like finding job placements. So we're really excited about it and really excited to scale that program, right? Um, for me personally, it means a lot to be a part of this program within the company because I did 4 years in the Navy. And for me, transitioning out of the military was not easy, right? So there was no skill bridge around at the time. I know it's back in the day, back in 2016, when I was getting out. I was underway for most of the time leading up to me getting out of the military. So I didn't really get a lot of time to prep, right? And I kind of just got out and decided that I was gonna stay in San Diego and not move back to Rochester, New York. Um, and that transition was rough. Had to take a couple like odd jobs and this and that, and just try to figure out how to make things work. Um, so yeah, super blessed and super fortunate to have found a company and to be able to help like scale that program or that skill bridge program to provide that opportunity for folks, because I personally know what that transition feels like, or what it can feel like if it doesn't, right, if it's not smooth. um, so that's been our big focus. We've been working a lot with the bases. Shout out Rebecca over at Miramar. She's been helping us out a lot. We're trying to get connected with the other bases locally. We're going to start locally and then kind of just spread out. So that's been something that we've been working on as well. Another thing. So Mike just dropped a book. So y'all probably have it. If you don't, we'll drop the link. Alex, if you can drop the link, it's Hacking the Job Search. So this book represents all the years of Mike's experience helping folks land careers in tech, right? Um, it started out with he did from the coding boot camp days. He also did programs where he was helping folks one-on-one. He put all of that training together in this book, and it is available to you today for free 99, right? So Alex dropped a link. I see it in the chat. You guys can go ahead and get the PDF version of that book or the EPUB version. Download it. It's a really good read. It's full of tips and tricks and everything that we've seen over the years. So definitely check out the book. The audiobook is coming soon. So Mike will be announcing the audiobook probably within the next week or 2 weeks. That'll be available. So look out for that. All right. So we got a couple things coming down the pipeline. Another big thing, Inner Circle, right? So Mike will be launching Inner Circle, right? It's a small cohort of folks that are looking for work, actively looking for work, right? So the benefit of joining that cohort is that you'll be not only in a cohort of individuals that are like-minded, that are actively looking, but you get the one-on-one coaching from Mike. Again, all the tips, all the tricks, everything that we've found that have been success, right? Every area that we found success, that'll be available to you. So if you are interested, Alex is gonna drop the number. It's a community. Text the chat community. It's right there in the chat to find out more information. Get connected, and as soon as that's ready to be rolled out, you'll be the first to get that information. All right. I actually see Mike in the room, so I'm actually pause. We're gonna do a quick announcement, right? A quick message, and then I'll have Mike come in, and then we'll jump into any questions that we might have. Alrighty, guys.
Hi, I'm Mike Roberts, CEO of Creating Coding Careers. Over the past year, the tech industry has faced unprecedented challenges. Companies like Bitwise, Multiverse, and 2U, that were once thought of as the leaders for new tech career pathways, have all taken huge losses. and many nonprofits dedicated to workforce development are struggling. This turbulence hits early career professionals the hardest, especially people of color who face systemic barriers breaking into tech. Without organizations like ours, these talented individuals may never get the chance to realize their potential. We can't simply ignore what we're seeing in the marketplace. We're pivoting our programs to address these challenges head on. Although we were founded to support coding careers, now we're expanding beyond software engineering, and we're launching new career pathways for high-demand roles like data engineering, cybersecurity, AI engineering, cloud computing, and technical product ownership. But we can't do this without your support. We're starting a fundraiser to make this pivot a success. We're asking everyone to pitch in a small donation and provide support by amplifying our campaign. This will help us launch these new programs and help us support our job seekers. Thank you so much for all your support. I look forward to helping you land your first job in tech.
Hey, can you hear me? One sec, I gotta fix my audio.
If there are any comments, all right, go ahead.
No, I just want to say I'm traveling. I'm heading to Oxford, actually, pretty fancy. I'm going there for a conference on apprenticeship degrees. So I'm super excited to bring that knowledge back. I'll be there for about a week or so. Again, just heads down, focused on how can we learn from what they're doing in Europe and do more apprenticeships better here in the United States. So that's why I'm in this weird booth today. But super excited to be here with y'all and answer any questions. I'm going to kind of let Yashma continue to drive this, but super grateful for all the people that have been spreading the message on social media. I think I posted the video last night. Mad props to everybody that's been just like sharing it, posting it everywhere. We want to crowdsource this, right? We want to expand. And I think excellent opportunity. People are always asking how they can get involved, what they can do. This is it, right? Make a small donation, share, just kind of help us to get to where we want to go so that we can build out these pathways as quickly as possible and then really get heads down in the interim, helping people find jobs, right? It's something that we've just been doing for, quite some time. And I'm kind of excited to reboot the looking for work and give people more support as they're going through their job search process. So we're not going to be focused as much on the new pathways until they launch, right? And so right now is a really good time if you are looking for work to hit up that text number, join the community. If you don't get in, that's all right. Grab the book. Everything from there is kind of what we're going to be focused on and implementing. So the book's available now. I'm like 50% of the way through editing the audio book. So I'm just cleaning it up, just churching it up a little bit. And then that should be good to go. Should have that out pretty soon. Y'all might not even have to wait until I get back. If I get enough hotel and airport time, then we'll get it banged out. And I'm just super excited to get that out so that people have this resource to be able to just handle it, right? Get out there, do the effective things that are going to help you land a job. So that's
Awesome.
it. All I got. Do we have
We got a question from Ravi. It says, what are apprenticeship degrees?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, in my opinion, apprenticeship degrees are a phenomenal solution for people that are looking for work-based learning. And it's kind of combining the best of an apprenticeship, which obviously is a paid opportunity to gain hands-on experience working in an industry. But apprenticeship degrees recognize the work that you're doing in the apprenticeship, and it culminates with awarding you a bachelor's degree. And so the idea is that while people are going through something like a tech apprenticeship, they could be studying computer science principles, learning everything that they need. And then after, an apprenticeship that's run in parallel, like dual enrollment would be the best way to describe it. You're enrolled in both an apprenticeship and a degree program, and all the work that you're doing in your apprenticeship counts towards your degree. Right now, there's an organization, Reach University, that's doing this for teachers, and they're also doing it, trying to do it for like the healthcare industry. We want to be able to do the same thing for tech. So I'm out here in the learning space, trying to understand as much as we can about apprenticeship degrees from the folks in Europe that are doing this really well, and seeing how can we bring back that to the United States and literally have opportunities for people to get paid to go to school and graduate debt free, right? And have a situation where it's like as you're going through, you're earning while you're learning, and I think it's phenomenal. I don't quite understand why we don't have more of that here yet, but we'll figure it out. We're going to make it happen.
Awesome. Great question, Ravi. Any other questions? All right, hearing none. Mike, I know you're traveling. I know you gotta, get back to it. But was there anything else that you wanted to add? I know we talked about our partnership with Pearson View. We've been working on that for a while. I'm super excited to get that rolled out. You just touched on the book, right? Was there anything else that we wanna touch on?
I think those are like the really two big ones. And again, super excited about the work. We've been doing a lot that you guys like. We've been in the basement, just in the lab, trying to figure out how to connect all these dots. And it's great to finally see and be able to reveal some of the stuff that we've been working on for quite some time. So Pearson is huge. Those of you that know like the certification space, like Pearson's been like the go-to for not only certifications, but the prep to get ready to get certified across all these different various domains. And so we're excited to get started on that one. We got a couple other big companies that I can't put all the our business on the street, but we got a couple other big companies that we're engaging with and working on some pathways that I think are going to be super helpful for folks that are not necessarily software engineering. So that's the big pivot. The pivot is we've been so focused on software engineering that like we haven't branched out, and now I think it's a great opportunity because there's a lot of interest. Right now it's a little tougher in the software engineering space, but like everybody hears AI and everybody thinks like, okay, what does that mean? But it means data. It means like data engineering pathways are going to be like the thing when companies are trying to figure out what AI looks like. We know they need data, so they need people that can get in there, that can clean, that can extract, transform, load it, and do all those kinds of things. So data engineering is going to be major. So I'm just super pumped that we've got all this stuff that's now like going to be out there. People are going to have access to it. So that's it. Share the message, share the word, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things so we can make this, amplify this, and get this out there and make this a reality.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. We do have one more question. It's from George or Jorge. Is the apprenticeship program still going? And that's specifically for the software engineering.
Yeah. So we have about 10 apprentices, I would guess, right now. Sorry, like I'm a little bit more removed. Yashima is probably the right head count person, but I would say it's about 10 that we've got going through right now. And a lot of them are in our skill bridge program. So they're going through a skill bridge / apprenticeship program, which is amazing, right? They're transitioning out of the military into a job in tech. On the company side, again, I'm not going to make any news today with any companies, but it really is always dictated by a company. There's got to be someone that says that, hey, we're interested, we want X number of people. And then we pull people from the pre-apprenticeship program, interview them, the candidates get an opportunity to meet the organizations, and then decisions are made, right? And so that process still, like I said, we're talking to various companies. And once I'm able to publicly announce those, I will. People are always asking, right? There's always way more people interested in apprenticeships than there are companies that are that know about this, right? It's not that companies, I think, have decided that they just don't want to do apprenticeships. They just don't know. So it's really helpful to amplify this message, to talk about the work, to talk about your interest, because the more companies start hearing the A word, apprenticeship, versus their normal thought process was internship, then it'll be easier for us to make those natural connections with companies. And then they will usually come to us because of our experience to actually implement new programs. So if you're interested in helping to create more opportunities for apprenticeship, the power's in your hands. When you're out interviewing for companies, and the companies may seem like they're a little leery about hiring a new person, you can always mention, like, hey, I know there's an organization that does apprenticeships. Is that something that you'd be interested in exploring? Could we turn this opportunity into an apprenticeship? I'd be willing to come in, do an apprenticeship, right? So, like, again, just amplifying that message, I think could create some new opportunities.
Yeah, I've always really liked that about our company, because we don't just train to train, right? We're not just training you just to, so you can learn something cool. Like, we bring the employers on first, right? Because the goal has always been to get folks jobs, right? That's it, get folks jobs, right? So yeah, the employer comes first. Once we have the employer on board, then we bring folks on and train them specifically for their first day on the job at that company, right? So
Yeah.
love it.
And then again, as we roll out these new roles, it'll be the same thing. Right now, we can do software engineering, we can do AI automation. Pretty soon, we'll be able to bring people on to do data engineering, AI, technical product ownership, cybersecurity. Right, all of those roles are going to open up. The faster we get, so a little bit of fundraising going, so that we can actually have people heads down working on the standards, getting everything done, the faster that process will go. So that's why I'm asking for community support. We got a lot cooking, and we need a little bit more gas to pour on the fire so that we can like scale this thing.
Awesome. I have one quick question for you, Mike.
Mhm.
What what is one thing that you would say to companies, right? Um, about apprenticeships, because, like, you and I, we've talked about it. A lot of companies don't know that apprenticeships are a tool that they can actually utilize to lower their cost, to hire folks, right, to bring folks on. So, like, what's one thing that you can say to, to someone who works at a company who maybe is in a department where they have that power where they can, say yes or say no. What's something that you would say to them about apprenticeships?
Yeah, I would say if you're looking for a solution, right? Because I think it's always important to think of the end goal in mind. Like, what's the problem that they have? The problem that a lot of companies have is they don't have a really great candidate pipeline of diverse candidates. A lot of their candidates are coming from the same place with the same backgrounds. So if they're looking for a variety of new talent in their pipeline, that's the first reason why I would consider apprenticeship. The second was, so that's the attract part. You're going to attract new candidates. The second is retention, right? I think a lot of people kind of don't recognize, because they're almost always looking for senior engineers. So they kind of assume someone's going to hit the ground running. But when they start thinking about earlier career developers, they start thinking about recent college graduates. I would put our apprentices at that same sort of like ability to grow over time as an early. Sorry, I'm cutting out there. I would put our candidates that go through an apprenticeship program on par with that. So if you think about, okay, if you're looking for early career folks, you're looking to attract them, and then you're looking for a mechanism to retain them, to make sure that when you invest and you pour into these folks, that you're going to get the maximum ROI. Apprenticeship, hands down. I mean, just think how grateful people are when you give them an opportunity to come in and like hustle their way to a career in tech. They're going to work
Hmm.
pretty darn hard, and they're going to be loyal to you, right? So that those are the two biggest factors I would say the company should consider. There's obviously the other factors of like, hey, this could lower the cost overall of bringing a new person on, because there's incentives and there's ways that the government will sort of subsidize portions of this. I would say you shouldn't, companies usually aren't just focused on the dollars, but the dollars will make sense. Like the ROI
Right.
on this is incredible. So that part is the easiest part, is figuring out like, oh, there's some incentives to do this. The more important part is to shift the thought process internally about hiring based on skills. And in many cases, hiring on the skills that you believe the person will have at the end of the apprenticeship. At the end of a year, where can I get this person to? And if
Right.
you believe you have the ability to like pour into people, if you want to start with someone that can soak things up, start from a clean slate and be able to like learn your way of doing business, no better solution than apprenticeship.
Awesome. Love it. The dollars will make sense. I love it. That's a bar.
It will make.
Awesome. We do have one last question. It's from Lorindo. He says, "Hi, Mike. I live in Maine. I did not. I did the pre-apprenticeship, but I don't qualify for the apprenticeship due to my location. Is there any thoughts to extend the process to more locations? Hmm.
I'd say hold that thought, because we do have folks that hire across the country. So I think there may be some, maybe we need to clean that up and help people understand we are prioritizing recruiting people from certain areas because we already have, for example, a relationship with a workforce board, or we already have maybe companies that are already in the pipeline there. But there's no reason why someone that lives in Maine or Anchorage or Hawaii or Florida, like anywhere in the continental United States, that could be a great candidate for a company. But the key is what qualifies you is starting the pre apprenticeship and a company being ready to hire. We have to have a company ready to hire. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a company in Maine, right? Like there could be a company in New York that is willing to hire remote. They just want someone on East Coast time zone, right? So your opportunity is entirely dictated by companies that are ready and willing to bring on apprentices. So it's not necessarily us, which is also why, because it's slow right now for software engineers, we want to make sure that we're sort of like grabbing the bull by the horns and figuring out how can we add more value for folks. And right now, it's opening up different pathways and starting to do a doubling down, tripling down on our career services placement, helping people land jobs. So we may not be able to hire everybody and give them their first opportunity, but we can certainly help people like learn all of the things that they can do, the activities that will be the highest yield and get the job search to be as short as possible.
Yeah, like that. We actually have one more. Hi, Mike. So this is from Tony. Hi, Mike. So if a company has internships, can we maybe request an internship by reaching out?
I think he said, I think he means apprenticeship. So if they have an internship,
Apprentice.
can you turn it into? Absolutely, right? And I think we are nimble enough and flexible enough that if someone came to us and said, "Hey, I'm about to start an internship, and I'd love to see if this employer would be open to apprenticeship," man, let's have that conversation. And here's why. Because I think a lot of companies aren't not doing apprenticeships because they have something against it. Many of them just don't know. They've just done internships is the only model that they're familiar with. And sometimes I'll even say when I tell someone I do apprenticeship work, they'll be like, "Oh, that's cool, you do internships." I'm like, "No, it's not the same, bro. It's different." But because it's the only thing that they have a model for, sometimes they're not even thinking about it. So if you plant that seed and you say like, "Hey, I would be super interested if this internship could turn into an apprenticeship program. Is this something you guys would be interested in learning about?" Point them towards our direction. Happy to have that conversation. And I think it's entirely possible that grassroots, we can actually make this more of a opportunity by just simply amplifying and making sure that people start to build this mental model in their brain of like, okay, just like an electrician, just like a plumber, just like a carpenter, a great way to learn one of these industry trends, whether it's AI or cybersecurity, is to get a year or so of experience learning on the job. Like, what better way to discover all of the different ways that like this stuff's moving fast. So it's almost better than just a pure academic training, because you're getting an opportunity to see things like in the field in real time and
Exactly.
pivot along with how quickly everything is. So I think we'll see greater adoption. There are some, which is why I'm going to Europe. There are some things that the Europeans are just so much further ahead that like I want to learn all of that and bring it back so that we can change the norm. And rather than the norm being all these tech companies doing internships, what if the norm was all these companies doing apprenticeships?
Right.
And you knew that like you could actually, while you're in college, be working alongside industry professionals, graduated from college with a degree. That's already happening to some degree here in the United States in co-op programs. A lot of people aren't familiar with co-op, but co-op is where you go to school and you work, you go to school and you work. It takes a little bit longer. It's usually like a 5-year program for a bachelor's degree, but all the top schools do that. Northeastern does it, Cornell, Purdue, right? But it's only at like the really big elite schools because it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to have professors, keeping up with industry, right?
Right.
It's just not something that big universities are used to doing. It's only like the really elite schools that have the resources typically to do this and are interested in doing this. everybody else is, they're doing the same thing, right? And you always want to be looking at, okay, well, if y'all are interested, look up co-op. Like, try and understand a little bit more about like the exclusive nature of that, like the 40 or so schools that do that versus the 2 to 6,000 other schools that we have here in the United States. It's such a small percentage that offer that, and that's kind of the battle that we're fighting with apprenticeship. It's the same thing. There's hundreds of organizations that know the internship pattern. Very few of them know the apprenticeship pattern.
Got it. Awesome. Any final thoughts before we head out? I don't see any other comments. So any final messages?
Cool. All right, I'm gonna hop out.
Awesome, guys.
It's been fantastic being able to answer at least a few questions, and then
Of course.
yeah.
Thanks for popping in. Alrighty, everyone. Have a good Friday. Like Mike mentioned, if it is available for you to support, please do so. We truly appreciate it. Please support us to continue this amazing work that we've been doing in expanding apprenticeships. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you all on the next one. Have a good one.